Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new stream by the Kolabacats, the new stream for Beyond the Alley, the project that is presented by the Kolabacats as part of the Network Music Festival, the fourth edition. So, my name is Francis Le Cavalier. I will be your host today, and I am with Renaud Bouliane right now. How are you, Renaud?
Well, fine, I must say, with everything that happened today. I've been worse.
Yeah, well, for those of you who, just to put you in context, the stream was originally supposed to happen earlier. However, we had some technical problems and we had to delay the streams up until now. So, yeah, so this stream is gonna be a little bit different than usual. So, usually, with Beyond the Alley, the project that we're doing right now, it's a global composition chain. So each member of the Kolabacats, we are seven members, we work on one composition for 60 minutes at a time, and we work on the composition, we create live. So we live stream this creation session, and we've done four of those sessions as of now with Vincent Filion, myself, Jérémy Ricard, and Gabriel Essiambre. However, this stream is going to be a little bit different since we had some technical problems with Renault's stream. Renault actually did his round beforehand, so we recorded it and we're gonna play it back to you and we're gonna comment on what Renault is doing live. So it's not technically live composition; it's more than live commenting. But whatever, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be cool. We're gonna have a I'm eager to discover what you did, Renaud. With that being said, I just want to remember you that you can like our Facebook page if you want to stay informed on the Kolabacats new projects. Also, the Beyond the Alley project is a worldwide composition chain, so you can register to be a part of that chain. So if you want to do that, just go on our Facebook page. All the info is there. Also, please, if you like what you're seeing, just hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button on this video, and yeah, that's about it. So, Renaud, before we start, do you want to say a little something about the what you did?
Yeah, because normally in those in Kolabacats we don't listen beforehand to what the other person did before us. But since I'm the host for all the streams, but this one, I kind of heard what was going on, so I told myself, you mustn't think about what you're gonna do on that piece. So of course, I spent all the nights thinking about what I'm gonna do with on that piece.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I didn't work on it. Just thought about it, and there was a metal vibe that appeared yesterday, thanks
Oh.
to Gabriel, and so I wanted to go to continue on that vibe, but also add a little bit of electronic music to it.
Okay.
And I've always said that between musical genres, you always have some similarities. And so one of my big idea was to make a breakdown because if you're on dubstep or metal, a breakdown is a breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
It has the same role,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just the sonority that is different.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to build a bigger structure. And since the start of that song, uh, I'm the first one that actually lengthened
Wow. Yeah.
the song because at first it was 36 minutes, then 7 minutes, then uh, 1 minute and a half, then 45 seconds.
Yeah.
Then I built something like the whole file is about 2 minute 30, but the song itself that I wrote is about 1:45.
Okay.
So
Well, that's
it's getting
really
somewhere.
it's really interesting. I can't wait to hear it. Yeah, I propose that we go ahead and start listening to it right now. So normally I would time you, Renaud, if you were composing live, because you only have 60 minutes to compose. But since you already did that, I suppose you didn't cheat, right?
Yeah. So technically, I timed every stream
Okay.
since I've timed this one for myself also.
All right. Well then, I propose that we launch the video. So just as a reminder, this is not Renaud composing live. It's actually just a replay of his composition round. We had to do this due to technical issues, but we're gonna comment on it right here, right now, before your very eyes. So I'm starting the clip right now, and there we are. So you have your 8 stems. Is it 8 stems? You had only 7?
So folks, you'll be. Yeah. Yeah. And there's 2 stems that are the same guitar but left and right.
Ah, okay. So I guess, as you said,
we're gonna listen to what I had from Gabriel.
Yeah. Oh, already making copies.
I just needed to clear my head, I believe. Yesterday was a rough day.
So where were you? What was your headspace at that moment? So this is just the beginning of your composition time. What were you thinking at that moment?
Yeah. You really want to know?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Because for those who aren't aware, I was supposed to do the stream, everything live at noon, but there was so many technical problems that I had to change my whole hardware setup to change where I was gonna record. So I was pretty much really stressed out. So when I started, I'm like, okay, you need to cool down. So let's just start with something easy. So I took the filtered drums that everybody worked on.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the things that are still present after all this time. So I'd like, yeah, let's do a small intro, build up.
Mm-hmm.
Let's starting by looping them, and just see what it was gonna bring me.
Where this goes.
Sometimes it's easy to start. Yeah, exactly. Because sometimes it's easy to start. It's like climax, but then it's like, I have this idea. Let's build from start up, and we'll see where it goes.
Okay.
And of course, when you write music, you're not always making sound itself. Sometimes you're just tweaking stuff.
Yeah. It can be pretty surgical. Well, we saw yesterday at 8 with Gabriel. Gabriel was very, in the details of it, very like surgical, right?
Yeah, that will come. Don't worry. And then I go fetch one of my favorite line, which is in fact free for anyone interested. It's a Convolution Reverb that was recorded in a ancient Mirador from the Cold War. So
oh wow!
The space itself was recorded, so it's loud, it's big. And it really sounds really great.
Oh wow, it does.
Like if you want to put something far away in the background, it's quite easy to use also.
Mm-hmm.
So just making a small automation. Still being on the, what am I going to do? Okay.
Well, it's always like that when you start. I feel the same way. When I start these 1 hour sessions, it's always the first 30 minutes are basically trial and error, like just trying to see what works, what doesn't, trying some stuff out.
Yeah.
So now I saw that you made like some cuts to the drums. You faded in and faded out, like you spliced together some parts of them. Is that right?
Yeah, in fact, it's just, I think, the quickest way to make a crossfade.
Mm.
Because I wanted a somewhat fluent sound piece.
Yeah.
And I think that by doing that, it's easy. It's not that long to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm figuring out where do I want to put this, the start itself and the start of the beat.
Mm-hmm. Is the tempo still at 69?
Sorry?
Is the tempo, the BPM, is it still 69 at this point?
Yes, because nice. That's all thanks to you, Frank. And in Ableton, it's so easy to make automations, especially since they've added the option. Especially since you have the options to easily do a curve.
Yeah.
So, just fading in.
Just fading in.
Nowhere.
Nope.
That's when I'm like, those drums.
Oh.
Gabriel worked on yesterday.
Brutal.
Yeah. Quite far off from what Vince started.
My God, yes. The first round was just a hardware electronic jam. Was pretty nice. The video of Vincent's first round will be uploaded very shortly on YouTube. So be sure to have an eye out for this.
So retiming that bass.
Oh, you're retiming it.
Yeah, I created another small melody.
Okay.
that you're gonna hear pretty soon, you're gonna see that that recording was in two big steps. First one is I made a structure from what I had.
Okay.
And then I tried to do a breakdown, and
Yeah.
always trying to figure out where we're gonna go with this.
Pound, 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 pound.
I always have a tendency to consolidate.
Sorry, what?
I also always have a tendency to consolidate the clips just so I have a better visual on what I'm working on.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes when you're just sampling a small structure 3 minutes long, you cannot see exactly.
Yeah, that's interesting,
Print.
and it forces you also to commit a little, you know, to just like, okay, those edits, they're now final, you know, they're here. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's interesting in music making to really commit to something. That's a big part of the Kolabacats experience, because at the end of our session we have to export 8 audio stems, only 8. And so when you have more than 8, you need to fuse tracks together. So those tracks are now forever linked, you know, in one audio track.
Yeah. Like I wanted to
Oh, you're starting a small little bass melody there.
yeah.
Oh,
And it's funny because there's so many ways of doing this. Like you could just take this sound, put it in a sampler, and play it on your MIDI keyboard.
mm-hmm.
Me, I just chose to do it on one track and just time and detune every note.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
I wanted to make a small triplet groove.
Triplet Groove.
Yeah, but it's always nice to stop from being on the solid 4/4. Yeah.
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 I don't know what I would. I don't know what I would do without Control D to duplicate.
Hey, lifesaver, huh? I can't imagine what it was like at when people were working on tape.
Yeah. And you'll see. So I had like this. This is when I started like, okay, this is gonna be my main loop.
Okay.
So this is going to be the length I'm going to go with. So that's why I'm like chopping parts.
So that's where it
Because
started. Hey, pretty nice, man. Oh, here comes the guitar.
Yeah, this is the part where like, why is there two different tracks for a guitar? One left, one right. Okay, I'm just gonna bounce them in one stereo.
We're getting somewhere. This is starting to, you know, to evolve right now.
Yeah, but it's still, this is only with what Gabriel gave me. So right now there's no new sound matter. And if ever people are wondering why I'm always looking down, it's because I have two cats just playing around.
We're the Kolabacats, after all.
Yeah. And those two cats are the ones that you see on the banner.
Indeed, and exactly, yeah. They're the ones that are on the album cover of the of Beyond the Alley, available on Bandcamp.
That's when I'm bouncing. I really like the ease of use of Ableton to route the sound, to bounce it,
Yeah.
to the editing process is so light.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, with Pro Tools, you can do so many powerful things, and like for Ableton, it's hard for do like drum comping.
Yeah.
But sometimes you struggle with, oh, wait.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a track, squeeze it, and delete those two.
Boom.
Boom. You don't know how much time it saves you to have a well-organized DAW session.
Oh my God, yes.
I know some people can work with whatever they have in front of them, but then you go, then when you open that same project, like you're totally lost.
Yeah. Starting to get there.
This is where I really, yeah. And I'm still looking around.
Oh yeah. Okay, we have a metal track there. It's done. It's a metal track.
Yeah. But I think we can go deeper. So I'm still back to scavenging.
Oh, there was still this part in the track.
Yeah. That and the granular one too. Ungroup them. Then I make one of the great sound in that song. So yeah, that one too is also there.
Oh wow, I didn't realize. I'm not sure if they're in the master of Gabriel though. The exported master he did of his round.
I think yeah.
Okay, maybe I just
Yeah, because
maybe I just misheard.
But then now it's really when I start to have some fun with sound design. Like we have this like really granular noisy sound.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that hey, you can say I have 3 transitions. I'm going to do the same thing.
Oops, that track was muted.
Yep. So I see the 3 little snippets and like, yeah, can put them.
And let's remember that by now, this is at least 20 minutes that have gone by. You only have 40 minutes left.
But you see, starting from what we had, I think, like I built a pretty, like, nice structure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I think that was a smart choice to, just start and okay, you have some elements. Let's expand them. Let's make something, that resembles like a basic structure, and then let's add things to it. Let's play around with it a little bit more. I think that was smart.
And then that's when I spent way too much time working on those small automation. For the first one.
Oh yeah. Tweaking the
But when I figure it out. But when you figure it out, I'm like, oh, I can just do that.
Oh.
I'm like, well, okay, let's do the same thing.
And you didn't copy paste. You actually just like recreated the same thing.
Yeah, but since it's 3 different sections of the same sample,
mm-hmm.
Well, you have 3 different sounds because it's not just copy paste.
Exactly.
But you have that small riser. And I'm like, hey, this one was just a big attack with a fade out. So let's put it there.
That's nice. Now I'm wondering where you are going after that with this.
You're gonna see.
I guess I am.
But still, there's one thing missing in the start that I'm gonna add really soon. This was the track I like, hey, I want to record voice, let's put it there. Like, I'm not gonna. So this is me figuring out, what can I do? Huh. drum coming from so far away. I'm like, there, something misses right there.
A little, some gang vocals like, hey, hey.
No, this is, as I said earlier, this is like, I had so much fun making that sound that I'm working on right now. So I took like the chord pad and I just, down tuned it 3 octaves.
Ooh.
But you're C, just to start.
Wow, incredible.
So I have this bass, I mean. And I'm like, yeah, let's funk it up. So I went and took one of the last plugins that I bought recently, which is Screamo.
Screamo.
From WA Productions.
Okay.
Add that fat distortion.
That fatness. Oh,
It's real.
it's coming.
Yeah, because I wanted to add some movement. First, I give it some curve. Then I went. What am I doing right now?
I don't know.
And it's always funny, like when you're in the moment, it's so easy to do stuff, but then when you look after, you're like, why is there a pause there? So that's when I took the auto filter, one of the stock plugins from Ableton,
A classic.
to add that movement. You're gonna see. Well, here. Sometimes, you're always trying stuff, playing around. And people will not believe it, but making music, you really need to work with your ears. Because sometimes it's so easy to just look at stuff, but then like, what sounds good?
Exactly. That's a very well
What
put.
texture? Just realize, oh yeah, that's the shifting. Like, so let's sync and put the distortion after the filter. So at each thump you have like a different degree of distortion.
So cool, man.
I think.
Oh wow, that's great movement.
Yeah, only using like 2 plugins. But like, this will only be used in the intro. Then like, nah, let's put it for the whole for the whole track.
Well, if you have it, you need to flaunt it.
Yeah. And what I always like to use is you may use the same sample itself, like in its loop, but the plugin itself is not so you don't have the same treatment.
Yeah.
Because the sample is not frozen with the automation on it.
Yeah.
Like you have to just like if you want to record, if you want to do a fake like guitar sound, you don't duplicate the track after distortion. You edit everything, then you put the distortion on it, so you'll still have that organic feel.
Agree. That's some.
That's when I
Yeah, that's some great tip. Great tip, in fact, just to liven up some of your tracks.
yeah, and that's when I started to play a bit because there's still you can do some wobble inside a distortion. So
Yeah.
I have like two different wobbles but synced
Yeah,
still
that's,
on the same.
that's what I'm hearing. It's pretty nice. And so at this point, at this point, it's been like almost half of your time has gone by. You have expanded the structure. You have and you're starting to play around with like some sound design. What was your goal, in fact, in at this point in time? You know, was your goal just okay? I'm gonna expand the structure to make a whole song, or was it just to work on that specific section? How did you approach this?
At that moment, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna change the orders of the track to have a better visual, and that's when I'm like, okay, I had an idea for a breakdown, so that's what I'm gonna do right now, if I'm not mistaken, because I can be.
So breakdown's
Sometimes it's
coming.
hard. Yeah.
Nice. Can't
And
wait to hear it.
Well, you know, I spent like 25 minutes working on it, so you have a 15 seconds.
Well,
Because I really went it.
yeah. Well, for
Yeah, go
those
ahead.
who are listening, if you like Renaud's breakdown, well, you'll need to like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You'll have no choice.
Is there many people watching us right now?
I'm trying to see. I think there's a couple of people. 7, 8, 10.
Ah, nice. So what I was doing is I was thinking about just going to Massive and just play some notes while recording it audio and switching patches. Just like switching between presets just to have some notes,
Yeah.
just to have some basic sounds to work with. And that's, and you'll see, because when you go into micro editing, that's when you can spend so much time on small details.
Indeed.
And
Yeah.
this is me just reading the descriptions of the inputs.
Okay, so the plugin isn't actually on screen right now.
I don't know, is it not? Oh, no,
It's
it's just that I haven't opened it.
Oh, okay.
I'm just working on how to put the MIDI keyboard,
Okay, all right.
computer keyboard.
I get it.
Because since I'm not recording my studio, I don't have my MIDI stuff. Yay!
What a drop!
What a drop. And Massive, I think it's the first soft synth that I ever bought. And it's just, the workflow is so easy to work with. And like, people made some crazy stuff, like just in the presets, you have a bird chirp sound.
Wow.
Like just in the regular preset, just by playing with automations on filters.
Wow.
And as I said, you'll see this is just me playing.
Playing some presets.
Yeah. And just, I know we're in B minor, so just a D and a B, just to have music. And I know that Massive Sounds right now is pretty damn loud.
Yeah, it is loud.
So I'm just seeing what is interesting. So I wanted some aggressive stuff.
Well, you got it. That's a lot of sounds.
And that's like, yeah, and like, okay, yeah, I'm good with that. And this is when I just spent so much time arranging and editing those small sounds. And anybody who does sound design or Foley know that feeling as, yeah, I'm just gonna spend like 10 minutes just cleaning up those samples.
Cleaning up. Cleaning up. Yeah.
So yeah, let's
hear
remove
it.
the silence. Now, I think this is just something I do visually. So if you want to talk about life, it's a good moment.
Wow. Well, we could, but that massive sound is so loud. It blocks.
Yeah,
it
I
blocks
think
our,
after the, I think after the maybe the fifth, I took everything and just like tuned it down by 3 dB.
Oh wait. Well, couldn't you just have automatically chop the clip by transient or something like that?
Yeah, but it's not something I'm used to do.
Okay.
So I was like, it's gonna be shorter if I do it by hand than if I try to figure it out. Yeah, I know.
Not sure about that. But hey, whatever. It's your way. It's your way. It's your show, right? So.
Yeah, but I was like, I could do it, but I'm. Yeah, I know I spent too much time on it because it's not something I'm used to do, like splicing up samples. Normally, I work more like directly with MIDI synths or sampling, so I'm not used to like splicing up a bunch of samples.
Okay.
Really. So I'm like,
Well, it's
but yeah,
pretty useful when you have like drum samples or percussive samples. You can just like easily just chop them up by transient, and it's pretty effective.
I think that it's just not part of my workflow so much that I didn't think about it until like I was pretty far in that process of just. I know it's not the most exciting thing to watch and listen.
But it's all right, these videos, they're meant to be entertaining, of course, but it's also primarily a way for people to get into a composer's head. That's why we did this project, is to not only to start like a composition chain, and that's all nice, but it's also to allow people into our creative space, and allow people to see how we work. And sometimes you can gain a lot of insight from just watching someone work, even if what they're doing is an absolute pretty boring,
pointless.
Yeah.
And yeah, because I think it's important that people understand, like, And I think it's the same thing with all kinds of different art, that it's not always fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's everything you do is not always cool to watch or listen to. I
Mm-hmm.
think one of the best example is, like, everybody knows Bob Ross, the painter,
Yeah.
and even himself has many clean brushes ready for him to just take and start painting, because himself during some videos you can see him saying like, yeah, I have some clean brush, because if you saw me cleaning every brush I'm using, it would be pretty boring for like 15 minutes. So every arts and crafts have their own boring, tedious stuff that you must do, that is not fashion, but
Yeah.
seeing other people doing it, like, yeah, that's normal. That's part of the process.
Yep. Yes, and the process is important, And just yesterday, by watching Gabriel working on the just the previous round, around the round four, it was so entertaining for me. I thought it was super interesting because even when he was, tweaking like MIDI notes on a drum kit, or switching, drum samples and just listening to them, it's not particularly interesting, or just there's no wow factor, but I think it's so interesting to see how someone works with these with his tools, with the tracks he's been given, what's his minding, what's his process. So yeah, no, I think this is, I know we joke around and we say that right now this is pretty boring, but no, I honestly think it is not. It's very educative. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny because normally we don't see each other making those rounds, because normally it's all in secret, that you don't know what you're gonna have and you don't see what the other peoples are doing. But since it's live, what live from a festival, like, we tend to, watch others, so especially me that is like hosting everyone.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because, like, I'm so used to working in Ableton that yesterday when it was Gabriel's turn, like, okay, so that's how you do velocity change for MIDI notes in Logic.
Yeah.
Like, you can do almost the same things. It's just that the workflow is really different,
Exactly.
and you just get used to the workflow, and that's it's one of the, like, you telling me that I should have spliced to transient.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yeah, next time that's what I'm gonna do. And I think that workflow is not necessarily something you can learn by teaching. It's really
Yeah.
something you learn by doing, by watching other people,
Yeah.
and it's it's one of the most priceless things, because, like, when you work on stuff, like, I had a business discussion with one of my friends about studying music,
Yeah.
that what you learn, what you're learning in music, and I didn't learn like new ideas. I didn't learn like new stories I wanted to bring. It's just I had a better understanding of the tools I was using, and then something that took me 30 minutes before, now I can do in 4 or 5 minutes.
Exactly.
So when you start working on that workflow and being more and more efficient, then you can spend so much more time on the creative step than on the tedious, boring stuff of,
Yeah.
like, if I was slicing to transient, it
Like
would have
new
been already done for
ideas.
a long
I
time.
didn't learn
So I would
like
have
new.
spent more time just arranging them, making the beat, making the. So myself, I cannot wait to start working on it.
Yeah. And by the way, we're talking about working in a chain, working as part of a relay composition ensemble. Just want to quickly remind you, those who are watching us, that if you want to participate in this chain, if you're a composer and you want to have the chance to work on this very composition that we're working right now, you can register to be a part of Beyond the Alley. So when the festival is over, we'll send our audio stems to the first registered composer, who's going to have the total freedom to do whatever he or she wants to those stems, and then he or she is going to send it to the next person in line, and etc. etc. So it's like a huge experiment. You will get to see how the song evolves over time, and it's completely free. It's completely just for fun. So if you want to subscribe, there's a link in the description, I believe, of the YouTube video, or else you can go into in our Facebook page, the Kolabacats, and you'll get all the info there.
Yeah, thank you for reminding us. And it's funny because I'm not used to being the composer in those interviews, because normally I'm the host.
Yeah.
So it's
well, it's my job now. You've done enough hosting, and you're gonna do more hosting later on today and tomorrow also.
but earlier on tomorrow.
Yeah, earlier
Like
on.
8 p.m.
So just to remind people also who are watching, tomorrow will be well. First, before that, today at 5 p.m. on Montreal time, Eastern Daylight Saving Time. We're going to be hosting Barbara Finn-Becafico, who's going to work on the 6th version of the stream. And then tomorrow morning, so Saturday, on July 18th at 8:30 a.m., Guillaume Raymond is going to do the last part of this the 7th part of this song. Sorry, I'm kind of I'm kind of a bit disoriented with like the sound in the background. It's kind of messing with my head, so having
we're
some
happy
trouble
because
focus.
Because at first, yesterday's stream was supposed to be at 4 a.m., but now it's at 8:30 a.m.
Indeed.
So,
Indeed. Many thanks to the Network Music Festival for accommodating us and putting our final stream a little bit later. So now, Renaud, I was just looking at what you're doing right now in Ableton. It seems like you're done, just chopping those samples up.
yeah.
And now what's next? It's actually time to, compose something?
Yeah. This is the time where, okay, let's write stuff. Like, okay. At first I'm like, yeah.
By the way, if my timing is right, at that point in time, you had only like 15 minutes left.
Yep. And that's when, like, okay, let's really start to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
And it's when I start to micro-arrange and place those sounds in a timeline. I'm like, I could use some drum here. And also silence. And for those composers, always learn to work with sound, but work with silence.
Yeah.
Because silence can be so powerful.
Silence is a composer's best friend.
Yeah. Like, you can add so much to a song just by cutting some things down, removing what is unnecessary, and just having some silence moments just to add some punch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, I'm gonna use that part for a snare. This one I'm not sure of the timing. Like, where can I go with that?
Were you trying to go like a bit like dubsteppy, or did you?
I think I really wanted to try like have hybrid, more dubsteppy vibe, but play a bit with that metal vibe.
Okay.
Like at the start, it's pretty tame, but then it starts to break up because I've heard some songs that take like standard metal textures, but play with them in an electronic way.
Yeah.
And I always found it fascinating, like because you have something so much in your face, but glitched up, distorting, breaking up.
Okay.
Like-
We're getting there.
Yeah, yeah. As I said, you spend so much time on like 4 bars just because you want the vibe to be cool, and then like, let's add like a pitch up,
Mm-hmm.
just to get us, just have a small riser.
Nice. You know, this is something I often forget. You know, just exist in Ableton. The automating the pitch of a sample. You know, I'm used to pitching up and down like samples in like the whole sample, but I often forget that you can always, you know, just automate it and then make it bend or
Yeah. That's what I'm doing, just trying to bring a little stutter, a little bringing back those triplets, I believe.
bring back the triplets. And so aside from this, you know, with what you added in the intro and this kind of sound design you did in the intro of the song, did you like sound design anything else? I think the rest is pretty much just building the drop, you know, playing with the structure. But as far as sound design goes, it was pretty much the intro with the synth that you tuned down and everything.
Yeah.
And that's it, right?
Yeah. I really wanted to play more with the structure. Then I brought the sound design for the pad at the start, and they were like, I want a drop. So let's play with the drop.
Yeah. But it's cool and it's fun and it's very important that you know, some composers sometimes just focus a little bit more on the structure. You know, sometimes it seems a little less glamorous, but it can bring so much to a song actually.
Because
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
But I was just about to say that during my round 2, that's exactly what I did. If you remember correctly, I didn't.
Yeah.
I used like maybe 3 effects, like very lightly, but mainly I just took some chunks of audio and mix and match them and change the disposition, and that was it.
Yeah. Because there's so many parts to a good... There's so many different parts to a good musical piece. Like, everything is important, but it really depends on what genre of music you're making.
Exactly.
Because, you know, when you're making like folk music, you're gonna spend way more time on the lyrics, on the chord progression, but not so much on the sound design, normally. But when you make like electronic jungle beats, then you don't write many lyrics, and you really want that perfect sidechain compression on the kick to hit you in the chest.
Yeah.
And since I'm a crazy person, I want to make every genre of music, so I tend to make... I want to do everything.
Yeah. But I'm sorry, I'm just laughing because this drop you're building right now is starting to sound pretty insane. There needs to be a bit more drums, but
don't worry, it's coming.
All right. Well, it better be coming because according to my timer, there's like 5 minutes left.
Yeah, I think that's about it. I think I had this the same thought that okay, I don't have much time. Again, just chopping up that. I'm like, okay, what needs to add those accent?
But the drums,
Like, okay,
but the drums.
Yeah, like okay, let's take that
It's like
that snare and pedal drum.
it's like watching it's like watching a sports game. You're like, put the drums, yeah.
And this is really like a run against time because I'm like, okay, I have so much time left. I want to do as much as I can. Just placing stuff, and maybe the person after me, maybe Barb, is gonna play with those same textures. Maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? In the last 4 rounds, there have been some pretty drastic creative choices that have been made. So yeah, I doubt that she will continue in that same vein.
Yeah. Like I didn't touch the drum itself. I didn't like add compression or.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, there's still everything here left. Okay, let's take this one and put it somewhere. So let's stretch it out. And I believe I was pretty stressed at that moment, so I was trying to detune it, but I was only detuning it cents. So like, why isn't the sound changing?
Yeah, you can.
And then it was like, oh.
You can feel the panic starting to.
Again, I'm like, I can still have that tuning automation just to have a small rise. And automations are so easy to do in Ableton. Yeah. Because it's always funny because if you make a drone, you're gonna play with big stretches, and it's gonna take in a few minutes you can build like large structures.
Yeah.
But when you do micro arranging, it takes so much time to do things like moment by moment. But you can do some crazy stuff.
Crazy stuff.
Crazy stuff. I think at that moment I'm like, yeah, I have like 4 minutes left.
Yeah, that's about right. In fact, I think you have even less than that.
Yeah, because I really started when I started like
Recording?
moving stuff around.
Okay. Yeah, and I think I started my timer just a little bit late, maybe a minute and a half late, which would mean you have like 30 seconds left.
Maybe.
But I trust that you were honest while doing this.
Yeah, I was.
Well, we'll see. If you keep like composing after it's been 60 minutes, well, we'll know right away. So it's pretty much done.
I think that's the time when like, I think at that time I had, okay, I have 15 seconds. What can I do? What can I do? What can I do? Can I move this? And
in the words of the great Jérémy Ricard, there is nothing I can do in 2 minutes that is gonna make this song very greater.
I want that printed on a t-shirt.
It's an inspiring quote.
Yeah, I think this is the last thing I did was change the notes on those 3 last.
That would sound about right. Because there's
like, can I put it? And there you go. That's done.
So that's done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, what are you doing?
What? Okay, maybe I had a little more time left. I think that is the moment. Yep. That's the end.
What are you doing? You are still moving clips around.
Maybe I'm mistaken.
Stop
Maybe
cheating.
I still had like. I think I didn't cheat. It's just that in my head I was done, but I still had like 7 seconds. Because I don't have, as of right now.
I call
don't
BS on that.
No. You'll see. I'm totally honest. Those three, because I thought of the last 3 notes, but you see, I had 3 notes at the end. So those were the 3 last. So yeah.
So now you're just listening to the whole thing?
Yeah.
You better be.
No, this is over.
Or you'll be disqualified.
I was just mistaken between the last 3 notes that I wrote, because I knew it was 3 notes, but it was not the first 3 notes, it was the last 3 notes.
Okay.
Those at that time.
Let's just listen to it. It sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. So the rest after this isn't part of your your song, right? Okay.
But I still have tendency to just leave it there in case somebody wants to use it.
Well, if you leave it there, it has to be in your exported master, right?
It is.
Okay. Okay. Great. So yeah, so that's about it.
But
wow.
I remember, like, in the first season, there was a drum beat at the end of the one song that was just left there for, I think, 2 rounds.
Yeah. And it was unintentional. I left like some 3 seconds weird drum loop at the very end that I wasn't supposed to be there, but found its way into into the finished song. So, Renaud, your round 5 is now done. What do you think? How was this experience?
I think that honestly, it brought me to a better place, because at the start of the day I was so stressed out and panicking. Then suddenly when I started like writing stuff, then the flow came back and feel more relaxed. And I think the structure is pretty nice, and I wish I had more time to work on that breakdown at the end, but maybe Barbara's gonna have some fun with that. Maybe not. We never know.
I hope so. So of course Barbara is gonna be live at 5 p.m. This is Montreal time, so Eastern Daylight Savings Time. And she's gonna be composing live. Now, Renaud, you didn't have the chance to compose live because of some technical problems. How was it watching you composing? Because no one's done that yet. You're the first one who's actually just taking a seat and watching yourself work. How does that feel?
It's weird because, as I said earlier, when you're in the flow, like you so many things are happening, but inside your head, and then when you look at it, you're like, oh man, it's quiet.
Yeah.
Like, why is there big silence there? Because in my head it was going so fast, but when you're looking at a video, you're like, yeah, that was quiet. Like there's big silence there, and okay, that's fun.
Uh,
I'm also
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm also happy because sometimes when you look back and listen, you're like, okay, that sucked, and that did sound as good as I thought it sounded. But like, yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about what I had in mind. So pretty happy with that.
Great. Well, I just want to remind the people watching that they can take part in this composition chain if they want to. The registration link is down in the description of the video. You can also go on our Facebook page, the Kolabacats, and all the info is going to be there. So you can register. It's totally free. Renaud, would you like to give an advice to composers who will be participating in this chain?
Don't be scared to try stuff. Like, of course, when you have only 1 hour to write music, uh, it's it's normal that you're gonna go back to what you're comfortable with. But don't be scared to challenge yourself,
Mm-hmm.
to try stuff. To, as I said, like I'd never really done a breakdown like this. It was the first time, so like, yeah, let's do it. And before
Mm-hmm.
what Gabriel did, it was the first time ever you had like metal in a Calabacat season.
Yep.
So it's really interesting. So don't be scared, and yeah,
And go for it. Yeah, well, that's great advice. So, with that, I would just like to remind you before we leave that you can go on Facebook and like our page to stay informed on the next Beyond the Alley news and just general Clavacat news. You can also visit our Bandcamp to listen back to all of our previous releases. So we've been around since 2018 as a collective. We've been doing relay composition chains for a while now, just between the seven of us. So you can listen to them. We did three seasons. That's how we like to call them. 3 seasons of relay composition. We have some B-sides also, tons of good stuff. So go ahead and listen to them. And also, if you liked this video, this content, if it would be very cool for us if you could subscribe to this chain, press the thumbs up button, and yeah. So I'd like to finish by saying thank you to the Network Music Festival for giving us this opportunity to be a part of their incredible festival. Go and visit them if you haven't done so at networkmusicfestival.com. Thank you especially to Shelley Knotts and Charles Hutchins, who are the organizers of this festival. Thank you, Renaud, for your time, for your dedication, for your musical ideas.
my pleasure.
Uh, would you like to say any closing words before we go offline, Renaud?
Cats are wonderful,
They do.
and you they
They,
do are wonderful.
they are wonderful. All right, so well, thank you very much, Renaud. We'll see you guys at 5 p.m. So in about an hour and a half, on this very YouTube channel, with Barbara. So we're gonna work on what Renaud has just done, and we'll see how Barbara takes this in and decides to transform it. So thank you very much, everybody. See you next time.